Okay, I hope you're ready to go. Okay, everybody, I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the first hybrid regular council meeting of the Mona Municipality, September 14th. And first item is the approval of the agenda. Is late items, Hope? We have the one?
There's just the one item, item
Okay,
6.4, which is the referendum results.
Fabulous, thank you very much. And anybody have any additions or that they'd like to put in here? Okay, I'm going to move that I adopt the approval of the agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Michael. And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, yeah, no, that's good. That works fine. I think that's a better way to do it, Sue Ellen. Thank you. And for members of the public, I don't know how many are out there, except for Dave Rio. Yeah, we'll just, this is the first hybrid meeting, obviously, and half of us, as you can see, are in council chambers, and the other half are operating from home. So there might be some little teething issues as we go along here. That's why we're a little late getting going here. So we're going to move right into public comments. What have you got there, Hope?
Just one speaker, and that's Steve Rue, who's joining us on Zoom, and it's regarding the community center referendum. So you can go ahead now, Steve.
All right, Steve. Welcome. Thank you.
Hi, folks. Thanks for having me.
You
Thanks
bet.
for all the work you're doing. Engaged. Sometimes a thankless job being a council ongoing. And I just wanted to spend a couple minutes just talking about the referendum vote and the community center plan. I wrote a letter in the newspaper that got a lot of responses, positive and negative, and all sides of everything. But I just wanted to share one thought with everybody, and hopefully constructive thought. I think in terms of what's just happened with the referendum, I'm mostly a little disappointed with how this has been messaged and engaged with the current community on the island. I'll start by just saying, I think the first time I heard about, sorry? Is somebody saying something? No.
No, you're good.
Okay. I think, the first time I think I heard about the community center was at Fest a couple of years ago in the tent. And at that time, we were halfway towards a funding goal or less, and there was renderings up. And I think, and I've talked to a lot of people about this, and most people's impression that I know, everybody that I've talked to wasn't aware that there was sort of a locked-in plan, and this is exactly what we're building. And I know that there's been engagement decades back on this, so I know that that predates my time on the island and many people's time on the island. But I think this referendum felt tricky, and I was asked by the newspaper a couple of days ago, was I surprised by the vote being 65% yes, and I said I wasn't really. First of all, there's a small community that's very engaged on the island about having more arts facilities and things like that, and they all came to vote. And I think there's also a lot of people that want to vote yes for a community center. And actually, I say that myself included. Both my wife and I are pro-community center, pro-paying more taxes for the community center if it's the right thing. We're building everything for the community. So I think we're a bit of an anomaly in that sense that I did vote no for this referendum, but the left actually have voted yes. And it just strikes me that for all of the engagement, that's happened maybe 15 years ago or whenever the plan was sort of formed, in the last 5 years, more than a third of the island are new residents. And I don't know that there's been any meaningful engagement about what we're building and what's going into this building. And no one I talked to can make any sense of it. And I appreciate that there's been lots of work, and I'm not trying to undermine that there hasn't been thinking about this, but I just want to suggest the idea that there's obviously been a mandate to take the money, or to borrow the money, to accept the grant. I don't feel like there's a clear mandate about what we're actually building. I don't think there's been clear engagement about that. I don't think the messaging about the referendum was clear. I don't think there's any question about whether we should combine the municipal hall and the community center. I'm not super strong on that issue, but I think a lot of people are, or what we're spending the money on specifically. And I spent a lot of time asking to get numbers on that and didn't get any. And so I just hope that as a council, you consider whether there's a chance to just slow down now that we've got the grant and do something meaningful in terms of engagement with the community about what we feel. Like, I would have loved to see a referendum that said, do you want to borrow the money? Yes, no. Do you want the community hall connected? Yes, no. And here's 3 packages, or pick 3 things that are of most importance to you in this bill. And that to me, I would have voted yes, yes, and I would have picked my things. And I can't find anybody, and I know there are people, but I'm talking to dozens of the new families on this island, and none of them understand what we're doing. So for me, the money is one thing, but the second thing is that we've, obviously got this piece of land. It's fairly landlocked the way we're building this community center, and it's got to serve generations ahead of us. And I just hope that we build the right thing. And currently, I personally don't know that we are. And I haven't talked to anybody that does think we are. So I really respect the process, and I know it's not easy, and it's not easy to get in alignment on this. But I do hope that there's more meaningful engagement before we lock in a plan on what is being built. And I don't know if that's timed or not, but I wanted to make sure I just got it off my chest, and I appreciate everybody listening. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate your comments. Thanks very much, Steve.
All right.
Okay, take care.
Okay.
Good night, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything there that they're not extremely happy with, or would like some further explanation for? Okay. I'm going to move adoption. The council approved the items as outlined in the September 14th, 2020 consent agenda.
My sound is on.
I'll second
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Hello?
Was there a second there?
that. I'll second
Oh,
again.
now your sound is back. We lost your sound for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay, does anybody have anything that they'd like to pull out of the consent agenda? Okay, that's fine. And I have moved that the council approve the items as outlined in September 14, 2020 consent agenda. Second, Rob. Thank you.
Yep.
And all in favor? Aye. Hope, is that okay for
Yep, that's
you
great.
get everything there? Okay, thank you very much.
And just my apologies for my late arrival.
Oh, no problem, Maureen. Nice to see you. It's a little different here today.
If you're watching, I will watch the first part of the video on YouTube.
All right, thank you for that, yeah, for Steve Rio's comments. We're going to move on to delegations, of which we have none. And we're going to, business arising from the minutes are dealt with under consent agenda and right into bylaws. 6.1, traffic and use of streets bylaw number 133, 2005, amendment bylaw number 517, 2020. Emma Chow, Island Community Planner. Is Emma on board?
I believe Daniel's here.
Okay, he's going to take it?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Daniel, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So, yes, for your consideration tonight is the traffic use of streets amendment bylaw 517 for consideration of third reading. So this bylaw is largely unchanged from what received second reading, other than the change that Council had made to Loma Bay Road to reduce the speed in the bylaw to 30 kilometers an hour. And that's following Council direction from the July 27th meeting. So other than that, there's no changes to the bylaw, and we're presenting it for consideration of third reading.
All right, thank you, Daniel. Any comments or questions?
Yes, one question.
Go ahead, Michael.
Daniel, and I'm sorry, this probably should have been asked at a previous stage. Once this bylaw is approved, are we going to have to put up a whole lot more speed signs, or are we basically living with the ones we've got, recognizing a couple might get altered?
So largely this bylaw is to regulate and essentially legalize the existing speed limits that are there.
Yep.
Having said that, there are places where, in order for the RCP to enforce the current speed limits, we would need additional signage.
Okay.
So the municipality received a grant from a program called Vision Zero, which is trying to get zero traffic fatalities. And one of those was additional speed signs. And so staff had been working with the RCMP to identify essentially problem areas where to put up additional signage for the current speed limits. But then the first thing we noticed is we didn't have a bylaw that actually legislated those speed limits, so this is the first step.
Yeah. It's a byproduct of this. I kind of feel, as I've been around the island a lot lately, we have signpost-itis across Bowen Island. I accept that this may have to happen. I would welcome, Daniel, in your capacity, if you see signs that you could suggest that could be removed, I would be extremely grateful. Otherwise, every visitor to Bowen is going to have to take a speed reading course before they get from one end of the island to the other. So anything that you could see that could be removed would be so helpful, because it ends up by being clutterage, and excuse that word, and it doesn't help the cause. So we are going to see some extra signs going up. It's not fair to ask you how many, because I should have asked you that question in advance. But probably not a whole lot, but some.
Yes.
Okay.
And not immediately as a result of this bylaw, but as part of the process to try to figure out, where do we want to safely regulate speeds.
Thanks, Daniel.
Okay, anybody else? All right.
I'm happy to move the motion.
Okay, David, thank you.
I'm happy.
Okay, and any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. And then we'll move on to 6.2, which is the temporary use permit amendment of the official community plan bylaw number 521/2020. Back to Daniel Martin, Manager of Planning and Development. Daniel, it's all yours.
Thank you, Derek. I do have a very short sort of token presentation for this one, and I don't know, in the council chambers, are you able to see it if I share the screen, or is it?
Yep, we have you guys up on the monitor, Daniel.
Yeah.
If I share the screen, or is it?
We have you guys up on the monitor, Daniel.
Perfect. Alright. Okay, can you see that okay?
We certainly can, thank you.
I'm getting mine quite an echo. Okay,
Yeah.
can you see that okay?
We're getting that as well. Daniel, why don't I share it?
I'm getting on mine quite an echo of hearing myself in the way.
We're getting that as well.
Could everyone else please turn off their lights?
Daniel,
I'm getting on mine quite an echo of hearing myself in the way.
I don't know what's happening.
Carried unanimously.
I saw a horror movie like that once.
I think it's the Daniel.
Alternate universe comes in.
That's right.
Daniel, I'm
I'm
gonna.
going to just proceed then without the PowerPoint, given that it's only a few token.
Yeah.
I'll just speak to them. It's not.
Okay. Daniel, I can share your other presentation too. Okay.
If that works.
Yeah, just
I
remember.
think the council chambers currently did as well.
Hang on, this
So
one.
I will just see if we can leave them down. This is bylaw 521, and this is our bylaw to amend the official community plan to designate areas for temporary use permits. So we held a public hearing on this bylaw on August 27th, and we had no speakers come to that public hearing. And so the bylaw purpose is to designate the entire municipality to areas where temporary use permits may be issued, and to remove language that requires temporary use permits to be issued for use that is short-term or seasonal. And then I'm just going to end with the recommendation is that the bylaw 521 be read a third time, and that bylaw 521 be referred to the Islands Trust for approval.
498.
All right.
Recommendation, please.
And
discussion?
I agree now. Is this bylaw 498? That's what's on the, sorry, 498.
Sorry, Mike, I can see that the slide is the wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got 499, 498 in there.
Okay, no matter. It is the one that, as you stated verbally, correct?
Yes, and the one that's written here.
As all good, okay,
On the agenda.
all good. Just move along, I agree.
So it's been second, I think, already, right?
Just for the record, we remote people are seeing on the screen 498 and 499.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah.
And so if I just read it out, that bylaw number 521-2020 cited as 409 official community plan amendment bylaw number 521-2020 be read a third time, and that council refer bylaw number 521-2020 to the Honest Trust for approval. Is that the motion we're working on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and we have a first and second on that, do we?
We do.
Okay, and any further discussion? I think we've, this has had lots of airtime. Okay, I'll ask a question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Got it, Hope?
Alright.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and we'll move on to 6.3, which is an amendment to the planning fees bylaw, number 526-2020. And that's back to Daniel Martin one more time.
What I have before you in this item is a amended bylaw to our planning fees bylaw, and this is based on council direction from the July 27th meeting, which was to increase the fees for development variance permits from $850 to $900.
Okay.
And so if we go to the next slide, so the increase of the $50 is one to partly better cover staff time in processing applications, and then secondly, it's part of our move to encourage minor variance applications to apply instead to the board of variance. And so to take less staff processing time and less council time in considering variance applications. And I note in the report that applicants would still be free to apply for a DDP should they wish to. So what we're recommending is to bring the bylaw for 3 readings, and then we'll advertise any comments and bring it back to the first October meeting for adoption.
Would you like to make the recommendation? Second.
Sorry, what was that?
Just been moved and seconded.
Oh, good, okay.
I just got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if this is better directed.
Further discussion, go
So
ahead.
Liam, is this something we need to do every time we want to increase a fee like this? Like take it through council? If it's a $50 increase in the fee, then has to come to council and go through?
Robin, we can't hear you.
Yes. Okay. My question also was that these fee increases, if they need to always come to council to be voted on, or if they can, if we could just do that in-house, but I guess they need to come to council. By the sounds of it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I don't understand the comment. Why does council have?
Maureen, I was asking whether these fee increases need to come to council or if they can just be done as a course of business practices, and it sounds like they need to come to council for any of these increases to be put forward.
Yeah.
I should have telling us they have to be a bylaw.
A bylaw.
Exactly.
Bylaw.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion?
Yes, I have a question for Daniel.
Go ahead.
The comment that you made that this is being introduced to encourage applicants to use alternative routes, will that be brought to the attention of applicants?
Yes. So with this, what we want to do is make the board of variance option like more visible on that on the website, and more apparent that it can actually result in a faster application for applicants who fit the board of variance route. And maybe even some dialogue in terms of why should you choose the board of variance application instead of the non-variance permit.
Okay, thank you. I hope I'm still there. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? If not, I'll ask a question. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. And 6.4, Hope Dallas, Corporate Officer and Deputy Chief Electoral Officer, reading results of the 2020 referendum.
Okay, I'm I'm just presenting a brief staff report that includes the declaration of official assent voting results for the referendum that was held on Saturday, September 12th for loan authorization bylaw number 477, which is for the community center and municipal offices boring. We had a really great turnout. At 64% of the valid votes cast were in favor of adopting the bylaw. And so from there, we'll need to adopt the bylaw and then proceed with the borrowing process, which is outlined in the staff report. I won't go into detail unless anyone has any questions. So the recommendation before you is that council receive the declaration of official assent voting results approving loan authorization community center project bylaw number 477/2019 from the referendum held Saturday, September 12th, 2020 for information, and that bylaw number 477/2019 cited as Lord Allen County loan authorization bylaw number 477/2019 be reconsidered and finally adopted.
Thank you. I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a second from Michael. And any further discussion? I don't think so. All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much. All right, staff reports, we have none. Correspondence, we have none. Reports of committees and council dealt with in consent agenda. So new business, we're going to go 10.1, Metro Vancouver Director, David Hawking.
Hope, could I just ask you to stop the presentation on one of the two computers so that we can see on this large screen there's still this...
the recommendation is still up there.
Yeah.
How is that happening? It's not showing online.
Is it Daniels?
We did
Oh, that's
see
you
the
there.
recommendation all written out, but it sounded correct.
Okay, now we have mayor and council
Can't see
plan.
any, I can't see any other screen. I just see my.
Can you see that?
No, it's just
Mayor and
American
council planning department, so that was the prelim to it. Nothing now.
One in doubt.
Just give
Oh,
us a
wow.
minute, you guys.
Well, that's very nice. It's a nice scene. David, do you want to go ahead?
Sure,
Well, we'll try to figure this out.
committee report, the first meeting that I have is this Friday, to report on the present time.
Okay, that's it?
Yep, that's it.
Sorry, I don't know.
Thank you, David. Okay, so then we go to Island Trust, Municipal Trustees, Class and Kale update to council on Island Trust business. Who wants to start that? Sue Ellen or?
Yeah, let Sue Ellen go ahead.
I will report.
Okay,
If you like, I just want to let you know Islands Trust has been working throughout. We don't take a break in August, although I think some of us wish we did. And we have Trust Council coming up tomorrow and the following day. So anybody is welcome to join us for 2 long days of Zoom meetings. But it will be interesting, and the agenda is at the islandstrust.bc.ca website. On the homepage there, you can find it and find interesting delegations I think people might be interested in particular. Let's see. We met with Minister Donaldson of Forest Lands and Resource Operations directly before Municipal Council did today. So that was very interesting and positive, and so I look forward to talking more about that and seeing the follow-up that comes, and hopefully between the Islands Trust and Bow Municipality we can get more collaboration and agreements and positive consultation happening before and when Crown Lands changes of use are made. I just wanted to mention the different items that are in 12.3 in today's agenda. There's letters from Minister Cravina about decent ferry service levels, and our letters as the Islands Trust to Ministers Donaldson, Fraser, and Robinson, and news releases and things like that. One of the things that's coming up, and also the Trust Council agenda is in there as well. And we have some climate conversations, climate presentations happening online. There's a set of 3 of them. First one is September 29th, and I'll make sure that Hope has, everybody so that we can promote those. So I'll send that out by email. And the last thing, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So I hope people will join us at Trust Council for at least part of it, really interesting delegations, and get a feel for what are the concerns in the other islands and some of the ideas about protecting coastlines. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sue Ellen. Michael?
Yes, thank you. And normally I haven't at this stage had a great deal to say on the subject of Islands Trust. However, we are coming up to this two-day meeting, and quite a lot of work has been going on over the last 2 to 3 months. COVID has shown a light on how operations of the Trust can be reformed and updated, with necessity being the mother of invention. Business, governments and families are seeing their response to the challenge of COVID have led to innovations that previously would never have been imagined. Now, as everybody knows, or most people know, Islands Trust, created through enabling legislation in '74, with the unique mandate of preserving and protecting the islands in the Salish Sea for the benefit of local residents and all British Columbians. And as I think all will be aware, the mandate was implemented primarily through the use of land use planning tools to channel and restrict growth. It's now 46 years later, and it's time to look how the organisation delivers on its mandate in a changed world. As COVID adaptations are likely to become permanent, additionally, climate change adaptation is increasingly a factor in successfully carrying out the preserve and protect mandate. So in this vein, a group of trustees are contemplating an independent review of the Trust government and management. This group of trustees believe the time is right and are preparing a resolution for December's Trust Council meeting to get the support of Council to engage an outside consultant to look at the Trust's effectiveness in delivering on its mandate 46 years after its foundation. Such a review will require a fundamental reappraisal of the organisation, as opposed to simply adjusting policy. Adaptation to COVID has shown us all how quickly change is possible, the hope being to study and implement with courage ways to reinvigorate the effectiveness of this trust, and more to follow along those lines. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Can I just add a couple of things?
Sure, go ahead, Sue.
One of the things is that apart from Michael's comment about innovations and the Islands Trust being slow, Islands Trust had been doing a review of its office space, and we had invented a boardroom that was ready for COVID. So now we can do all of the digital meetings and things, partly through that boardroom and from the other ones. So we were kind of ready to go on the digital meeting front, and we've been using it more and more. And secondly, 1974 was also when the Agricultural Land Commission was created, another kind of preserve and protect what's special to the province, and that's just what I want to say, is it's not like it's outgrown, it's about managing growth, conservation management. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, we'll move on to 10.3, which is Councillor Nicholson, updated council on Metro Vancouver Region. Oh, I'm sorry, Maureen, go ahead.
You go on to my report, which is basically no report. We haven't met, as Dave mentioned. Michael, could you elaborate on what you meant when you said that the Island Chapter demonstrated over the last couple of months that it could be innovative? For example, what did it do that demonstrated to you that change was possible?
I'm not sure I heard you 100%, Maureen. It's not what it did, it's the feeling of a group of trustees who got together over the last couple of months And their request, or their hope, is to see a full and independent review of the Island Trust operations. So this is a feeling that has been growing for some time, reached a level of discussion, and will result in a motion being proposed for the December meeting.
Okay, thank you. So to my point, the council chief, measurement and reports will be meeting on Wednesday of this week, which will be the first meeting of this year, and also will report on this meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Maureen. I'm not getting your audio really well. Maybe it's a volume issue. Maureen?
All right?
I said we're not getting your audio very well. I don't know if it's a volume issue or.
No, on my computer, I will.
And works perfectly here. So remotely, it's perfect.
Oh, really? Okay.
Is their first meeting is on Wednesday.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you, Maureen. And okay, Councillor Allison Morris, reading the update to Council on Translit Mayor's Council meeting.
Well, the last meeting was on July 23rd, so I've got to sort of remember that. The major item on that agenda was a presentation on an update on the transit service review, and which you have to sort of go on the website and log in and look at our bus routes, which I did, and they've ranked them. I think there's something like 216 different routes, and they rank you performance-wise, so number of boardings and things, from high to low, and we're about the lowest, or pushing the lowest in all the categories for boardings and ridership and all that sort of stuff. So anything we can do to encourage people to use our buses and keep the ridership up would be a good thing. And we had a brief update on the provincial transportation projects, the Matthew Tunnel, and those are proceeding along. And then you all would have seen since the end of July the announcement from the province about the Broadway subway line, which is a provincial project, not a translate project. So taking that from commercial to Arbutus. And I think that's basically it.
All right. Well, thank you, Allison. And we'll move on to 10.5, which is to move to a closed meeting. The recommendation is the council move to a closed meeting immediately following the regular council meeting to discuss items pursuant to section 90-1 E and K of the community charter. I'll move that.
I'll second.
Thank you, Rob. All in favor? Aye.
Right.
Okay. So, section 11 is the items removed from the consent agenda. Nothing there.
Do we need to log off and log on again, or?
Yes, please.
Yes, Hope said yes, please, if you didn't hear.
Well,
Yeah, we log on to the closed agenda link, right?
Correct,
yes.
yeah. And then we go right down to the end. And I don't think Bronwyn's on, but question period. Is there anybody out there?
There are no members of the public present.
Okay, thank you very much. And on that note, this meeting